Hello, my very dear Sagittarian Sun, Moon, Rising, and for the month of September 2026. Sag, the first thing that I want to say to you is you are meant to feel like royalty. This is what Spirit is saying now. They wish you to feel like royalty. And what does that mean? That you deserve respect, that you have power, that your power is being acknowledged, and that you take for granted, you have the assumption of your royal heritage to carry you through this. Now, royal heritage, we're going to talk about your spiritual royalty, okay? Your authenticity, your honesty, the integrity of your heart. Listen, Sag, what I'm getting is no matter what wounds you have, no matter what wounds you feel have propelled you in directions that may not have played out well for you, or that have felt as though maybe in retrospect they took you off your path, what you're being told is no. No. You were functioning within the context of where you came from, what you were in, and where you were going. The only thing that sometimes created the problems for you was the fact that you had not been taught, as many of us, and tutored in how to own the power of your spiritual being and to let that influence and give authority to your personality, to your needs, to your wants, to your beliefs even. What you're being told, I'm getting this image of you, and it's so interesting. There's so many different things coming in at once. I'm seeing you standing in the wilderness, and I hear the term, the wilderness of your emotions. You have been standing in the wilderness of your own emotional strife, stress. And in the wilderness, to me, signifies feeling very alone with it. Doesn't matter if you have people you can talk about it with, or good resources or therapists, that ultimately when it comes down to it, there is the wilderness of your emotion as only you experience it inside. And what Spirit is saying, okay, so they're going back to this image of you standing there, but you are standing now on the top of a mountain. Yes, there's wilderness around you, but you are standing on the top of a mountain, and around you have what would be like a royal, I was going to say a royal fur, but it's not, because a royal fur would be like ermine usually. It's the equivalent of you if it were real fur, but I'm going to say it's nice faux fur. A really rich fur coat around you like this with a collar, and you're standing there with your arms like this, solid in this fur coat that is protecting you. And what I'm seeing is this quality of you having been through the wilderness. You having, what's the, excuse me, what's the continued image here? Okay. There have been points where you have been able to come to the top of the mountain and stand in the rightness of your integrity. And it's been challenging. But because it's been challenging, sometimes you've forgotten you're carrying this coat. You've forgotten you're carrying the spirituality, the power of your spirituality and integrity. You have sometimes felt as though, oh, this is too much. This is too much. But what they're saying is, it's time now to let go of remorse and guilt as much as you can, to maintain a neutral attitude as much as you can. We're going to go into this a little more deeply. What they're saying here is, it's so very interesting that remorse and guilt often go together. Remorse doesn't necessarily mean something you did. You can have remorse over a situation that happened, and especially if betrayal was involved or a sense of being betrayed. And again, remember, betrayal can mean disloyalty, it can mean deliberate deceit, it can mean deliberate backstabbing, it can mean feeling simply that someone has been unreliable without it being really malicious, but it can be malicious. If you're experiencing any of those betrayal, notice how often when we feel as though we have been treated badly, we take it upon ourselves. And I think this is particularly important with the whole new age perspective of things, which so many of us are still carrying. It's that sense of, well, if my life is a mess, I must have done something wrong to attract it. Well, yes and no. We're all living in the atmosphere of our own beliefs. We are going to create things out of the old wounds. But this goes back to what they were saying about the wounds. You can act from a wound without being guilty of having caused somebody else to treat you badly, because they also have a choice. What you can look at is where the wounds perhaps led you to be open to a situation that was going to have that happen. But that's a natural part of growth. That's not that you did anything wrong. That was you living who you were as a process of experiencing life, so you could then become somebody else. Somebody more with a more expanded consciousness, somebody with more empathy, somebody with more personal power. What they're saying is it's going to help you get out of that sense of feeling guilty about somebody else hurting you when you can remember that we are all here. Whoops, wrong one. We're all here in service to each other. So even the ones that end up looking like the ones you'd like to do something to that isn't nice, no, you can't do that, because they're here fulfilling a purpose. However distasteful it may appear to you, they are here fulfilling a purpose, okay? Their purpose, for sure, it's integrated with yours, but when we remember we're all here to learn and live and grow, and this is all about expanding consciousness, it makes it a little bit easier not to want to blame or hurt the other person. It makes it a little bit easier also not to blame and hurt ourselves, because we can do just as much or more damage to ourselves with our negative thoughts than we can with the other person, right? Right. Now, where is this coming from? You're being told the more you can stay in the state of neutrality, the more you can understand the concept and embrace the concept, at least because it's going to help you. The idea that we're all here to be of service to each other, and that in the process of this, hurts will be made, wounds will be created, healing will happen. You're going to be able to stay much more neutral about a situation, and that's what we want, because what we want is for you to be creating your day and your future from this day out of the understanding that you get to decide how you want to live your life. You get to decide how you want to experience your day, your life, how you want to build it. And you can look at your childhood, especially because it probably goes back to some of the remorse and guilt aspect of it. You can look at your childhood and say, okay, well, what were the things in there that created the atmosphere for me to be in this situation that became hurtful or became a situation of betrayal? What were they? And if I were different, what would that look like? And how can I incorporate, I'm slowing down, I have to clarify that. If I had those qualities, if I'd had an ideal childhood that gave me, for example, in relation to recognizing hurt, betrayal, nastiness, if I had been raised in a situation where I was taught to trust my feelings, to honor myself first, to confidently state my needs and opinions and set boundaries, if those were qualities that I actually had growing up, in an ideal childhood, I had that kind of support in my childhood, I had that mentoring or that emotional intelligence reflected back to me, how would that inform my day today? If I were that person, how might I go through my day? And if I were creating my life from this new perspective, what would that look like? Remember, you can start your day stating your intention. And it's always a good thing to do, to state your intention. And if you want miracles, have miracles. If you want peace of mind, peace of mind. But state it as though you are standing there with this beautiful, beautiful faux fur coat standing. You're no longer alone and unafraid in the wilderness. You are standing in your peak power now. You are acknowledging the divinity of your being, the power of your integrous heart and your intention. Own that and know that that is far more powerful than any wound. That is more powerful than any fallout from betrayal. You own that and you make that your stand. You take every characteristic you wish you'd had and you say, I'm claiming that. I am claiming that, and I am standing on the top of the mountain, and I am owning my spiritual royalty. I am claiming that power and that authority over myself, over my life. That's it. I think that's pretty much it. It's really beautiful. It's not quite it. I have something else that I need to say. What is it? Make a list of everything that stresses you, knock it off one by one, get it out of your head, get it onto paper if you need to, so that you don't keep running around from loop to loop in your head. I know it sounds silly, but putting it out on paper creates a straight line, and that can actually help you think more logically. Now, the next thing when it comes to this, remember I said you might want to hurt people? Okay, so let me clarify that. I say that to you because often when I'm in a situation with people where people I love are being hurt, I have the inclination to want to go lash out. I don't, but the inclination is there. So if you have that, what I would ask you to do is check in with yourself. If you're feeling any nasty thoughts towards anybody else, check in and say, okay, yeah, I'm feeling that in this moment, and I'm going to honestly own that, because that is a whole part of the emotional profile you're getting to understand now. Yes, I feel like that, but when I check in with my deep heart, when I check in with my spiritual sovereignty, ooh, I like that. Spiritual sovereignty. Got it. Do I really want to? Does my heart pull me to that? Or does it calmly ask me to just step back, put my hands back into the sleeves of my beautiful coat, and stand there powerful, warm, and protected on the mountain in my own sovereign state of power? I leave you with that, my very, very dear Sagittarians. Much love to you, always.